Tonight on Y News. An exclusive, a Batocabe slay case witness reveals to UNTV News he did not receive the entire 35 million peso reward money from the Philippine National Police. Lawmakers will investigate the expose of the missing reward money related to the Batocabe slay case. Senators see effort to cover up the pilferage of shabu or crystal meth by police officers in the 2013 Pampanga drug raid. Presidential spokesperson Panelo accepts the challenge of militant groups to commute using public transport going to Malacanang tomorrow. And a motorcycle rider gives free rides in exchange for a prayer for his ailing son has gone viral on social media. Good evening. In a UNTV exclusive, a witness in the assassination of Ako Bicol Party List Representative Rodel Batocabe in Daraga Albay went to UNTV to seek help for his safety. He reveals only 6 million out of a 35 million peso promised reward money was given to him. The witness exposes more details in this report from Lea Ilagan, exclusive.
Emmanuel Judavar sought the help of UNTV News because he fears for his safety about what he knows on the Batocabe slay case that happened on December 22, 2018. This after the court allowed former Daraga Mayor Carwin Baldo to post bail for his temporary freedom after being pointed as the mastermind in the crime. Judavar is one of the witnesses in the shooting of Congressman Batocabe. He revealed to UNTV News that he did not receive the entire amount of the reward money supposed to go to the witnesses in the criminal case. Judavar says among those who might threaten his life are the policemen who benefited from the reward money.
Dito naman sa PNP, alam na nila yun. Masama ang mag-iisip talaga sa akin ng masama. Yung nakinabang sa pira na yan, kung sino ka man. Naginabang ka tapos ngayon nakalkal yan, masakit, masama ang loob mo, pwede talagang isipan mo talaga ako ng masama. Dahil kung nagastos mo na yan, namumroblema ko kung saan ka kukuha ng...
According to Judavar, out of the 35 million pesos gathered by the PNP as reward money, he received 6 million pesos only. He got the 4 million pesos on January 19 and the 2 million pesos 7 days later through Police Lieutenant Colonel Narciso Langkawan in the Intelligence Office.
Wala pong proseso. May picture-picture lang kami sa cellphone. Kasi ang gusto ko nga nun, may media para malaman ng tao kung magkano talaga ang napupunta sa akin.
The witness added he was told by a certain PNP personnel that they gave 1 million to each of the suspect, namely Danilo Muela, Christopher Naval, Jerwin Babor, and Emmanuel Roselio. Judavar said that among the suspects, only Muela talked to him and admitted he was able to receive money. He also said he had been told earlier by the PNP CIDG that aside from him, there are 2 other witnesses in the crime. He argued the police were able to catch the suspects because of the information that came from him.
Ang nakikita ko dyan para sa akin, kaya sinasabi nila yan para ma-liquidate nila ang perang nawawala. Kasi napaka-unfair naman siguro na ako ang informant, ako ang witness. Mas malaki ang ibinigay nila doon sa tao na yun, tungkol sa reward money na yun. Doon nila ibinigay yung 25 million. Kaya nga sabi ko, ilabas nyo yan, sir, kung sinong witness na dalawa nyo.
Judavar further revealed that Police Lieutenant Colonel Narciso Langkawan told him that CIDG personnel also received part of the reward money.
Ang sabi ni Sir Langkawan, binigyan daw yung CIDG. Hindi ko po alam kung magkano. Kaya
he added he wrote to PNP Chief Police General Oscar Albayalde regarding the missing reward money but no response from the PNP chief reached him. Instead, CIDG Legal Officer Attorney Joseph Orsos replied and said it was not only Judavar to whom the reward money had been given. Judavar has this call to the PNP.
Sir, alam mo naman yan, sir, kung sino yung mga tao na umawak ng pera, kung pinakinabangan nila yung ibinigay mong pera, na yan, kayo pong bahala na pagsabihan ng mga tao mo. Kasi come in responsibility mo yan, sir. Kasi ikaw mismo, sir, ang nagsabi sa media na sa akin ibibigay yung reward money na yan. Hindi mo yan, sir, maitatago.
Judafar emphasized that he is ready to face any investigation to shed light on what happened to the reward money and who benefited from it. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Caloocan City.
The 2 million peso reward money from the local government for the witnesses in the Batocabe slay case remains with Philippine National Police Albay. Albay Police stresses certain rules must be followed before giving the reward money. Alan Manansala tells us why.
Albay Police Chief Colonel Wilson Asueta clarifies that all those who assisted and gave information for the fast resolution of the Batocabe slay case will receive a reward. He adds that reward money is not intended for one person only. The police official says the 2 million pesos that remain in the PNP Albay custody is an additional reward to anyone who can inform them about the whereabouts of the suspects responsible for the assassination of former Bicol Party List Representative Rodel Batocabe slay case and his aide SPO2 Orlando Diaz.
So as per advice, siguraduhin ang pagbibigay ng pera. So the money will be given to the informants and to the witnesses. Well, we have a categorization of informants and witnesses. So informant who executed an affidavit should be given a larger portion.
But certain rules must be followed before giving the reward. Those include attending court hearings.
Kung nakikita natin dito, bibigyan natin yung lahat na tumulong. As per advice of the governor, it should not be wasted. It should not be wasted. It should be given and with assurance that walang mga hindi mag-a-appear sa court, magkaroon ng recantations. Yes. So based on our staggered basis to be given until they fully comply with this testimony.
Asueta adds they will make the necessary liquidation report after giving the amount from the Albay provincial government to those who should benefit from the reward money. Alan Manansala, UNTV News and Rescue, Ligao City, Albay.
Our proposal has been filed in the House of Representatives to investigate where is the 35 million peso reward money, which was supposed to go to the witness or witnesses to the Batocabe slay case. Vincent Arboleda will tell us why.
Incumbent Bicol Party List Representative Alfredo Garbin Jr. believes the 35 million peso reward money had been exploited by corrupt policemen. He says several witnesses to the assassination of Batocabe went to his office to claim that some of them did not receive any portion of the reward. Following this, a House resolution was submitted to the House Committee on Public Accounts to investigate where the 35 million peso reward money went. According to Garbin, of the 35 million peso reward money, 20 million pesos came from the Office of the President, 13 million pesos from the House of Representatives, and 2 million from the Albay provincial government. According to a PNP CIDG statement, the reward money of 13 million pesos from Congress was handed over to the office of the PNP chief in a ceremonial turnover. The CIDG assures the public that all money is accounted for and the PNP CIDG is ready to provide the details if and when Congress asks for it. To this, Garbin responded.
Bakit hindi pa nila inilalabas ngayon kung ready sila? Diba? I think they are not ready. They are hiding something. That's what I'm looking at it.
Garbin is also dismayed that the PNP have not addressed his request for a security escort.
Alam mo, namatayan na kami. Kakasama namin. And in fact, when Kong Rodel was killed, it was when they recalled the security of Kong Rodel Batocabe. When Kong Rodel was killed. Ngayon, ginagawa na naman sa amin to ng PNP.
Garbin says they are only waiting for the schedule from the Committee on Public Accounts as to when the hearing for the anomaly in the reward money will commence. Meanwhile, in an interview in UNTV's Ito Ang Balita program, PNP spokesperson Police Brigadier General Bernard Banac said that General Albayalde has already tasked the CIDG to prepare the details of the report in a hearing in Congress.
Kung sino man ang mga dapat mabigyan ay siya dapat mabigyan at ang detalye nito of course ay ibibigay ng CIDG, kasama na rin dyan ang Provincial Police Office ng Albay na kung saan ay may hawak din sila na bahagi ng reward money. Ang maibibigay natin na katiyakan sa ating mga kababayan, ang kabuang 35 million na reward money ay all accounted for.
According to Banac, a board determines who will be given the reward money and they base it on the information given by an informant that helps resolve the case.
Kapag na-determine naman na ang isang informante ay nararapat na bigyan, ay agad na binibigay ito ng buo.
Banac, however, refused to give the total number of informants and witnesses involved in the Batocabe slay case and said they will leave it with the CIDG. Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
UNTV turned over Emmanuel Judavar, a witness to the Batocabe slay case, to the National Bureau of Investigation today. Nel Maribuhok explains why.
The UNTV News reached out to the officials of the Department of Justice and the National Bureau of Investigation for the immediate turnover of Judavar to their custody. NBI agents traveled to UNTV office right away to get Judavar. UNTV Representative News Field Manager Jun Soriao read the endorsement letter which proves the witness is in good health condition before the turnover.
Kanina po ay pina-check up namin siya sa doctor namin dito. And physically able without any signs of physical and or mental disability.
According to Attorney Yuri Beltran, the head agent of the NCR-NBI, they will next assess Judavar's situation for possible recommendation to be covered by the government's Witness Protection Program or WPP.
Yung UNTV nga ay humingi sa amin ng tulong para i-turn over. So, ang gagawin namin, i-assess namin yung yung situation tsaka yung mga available na documents na hawak niya at doon gagawa kami ng parang report para kung sakasakali ay ipo-forward namin sa management para magkaroon din ng sila ng evaluation kung pwede nga siya i-recommenda sa Witness Protection Program.
The witness said he believes he is safe under the NBI's custody.
Ako po ay lubos na nagtitiwala dito sa NBI kaya nagdesisyon ako na makapasok sa WPP na binibigay nila.
Meanwhile, PNP spokesperson Police Brigadier General Bernard Banac says the PNP CIDG is now coordinating with the informant.
Ang CIDG ay nakipag-ugnayan na rin sa kanya. Kung nagkagayon na nabigyan siya o hindi man, ay inaasahan natin na nagkaroon na ng ugnayan, naturang person informant at ang CIDG.
Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Senators believe the evidence against PNP Chief of Police General Oscar Albayalde on the 2013 Agabato incident is strong. The three former generals accused the PNP chief of attempting to cover up the actions of his former personnel allegedly involved in illegal drug recycling. Grace Casin explains why.
Senators are now looking into the circumstantial evidence for a possible cover-up in the 2013 drug raid in Mexico, Pampanga.
I think sa nakikita ko talaga, the circumstantial evidence is quite strong. Sir, yung and if you add Lacadin, if you add yung Pakina, yung Aquino, may tama talaga.
The events that are unfolding would really indicate effort, deliberate effort to cover up the drug raid.
Senator Panfilo Lacson in a statement says slowly but surely the Cubidi members may eventually form such conclusion. He adds a possibility of General Albayalde may be an accessory in the anomalous act may be opened. According to Senate Blue Ribbon Committee Chairman Richard Gordon, Albayalde is not off the hook for possible charges. Senate President Vicente Soto III, who has expressed his beliefs the PNP chief's credibility is intact,
now has doubts after hearing retired General Rudy Lacadin's testimonies in yesterday's Senate hearing.
No, I'll probably have to make an assessment.
The senators let the president decide on the fate of the country's top cop.
Dapat mabilis ang action natin pagka may nagkakamali. And it would be a great boost to the president if he makes a decision here strongly. Yung binitaw niya, nagulat ako. Akala ko mahulog ako sa upuan ko eh. Sabi, mabigat yun. Maliit lang naman nakuha ko dyan or words to that effect. Retired general would normally not say that.
Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde does not know the motive of retired General Rudy Lacadin as he links the country's top cop to the anomalous 2013 Pampanga drug raid. However, Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong insists Albayalde benefited from the operation. April Senadoza tells us why.
PNP Chief Police General Oscar Albayalde, who was set to retire on November 8, is being blamed further on the case of the controversial drug raid or Bato incident in Pampanga in 2013. This after former PNP Central Luzon Chief, retired General Rudy Lacadin, revealed that Albayalde allegedly got a little from the operation.
I don't know if jokingly sabi niya, actually sir, konti lang naman ang napunta sa akin dyan.
But the country's top cop isn't faced to deny this. Albayalde also said Lacadin has a lot of explaining to do.
It's very unlikely, alam niya yan, it's very unlikely. Deputy siya ng CIDG noon ni General Magalong. So you know the connection already.
After the Senate inquiry on Wednesday, Lacadin refused to face the media for an ambush interview. According to former CIDG Director and now Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong, what Albayalde meant when he telephoned Lacadin was to exclude him from the case.
Huwag mo na palakin, parang gano'n. Huwag mo na parang palampasin mo na lang. Huwag mo na ako ipitin niya kasi konti lang naman natanggap ko. Ganun lang yun ang ibig sabihin nun. Kung i-contextualize mo lang yun, ganun lang ibig sabihin.
Magalong also slams Albayalde's views, saying ninja cops could be used to stop him from recommending his potential successor to President Rodrigo Duterte.
Someone with a wild imagination will always come up with that alibi. Malayo yan. It's illogical, it's inconsistent, it's absurd.
Meanwhile, in a statement, the PNP denied rumors circulating online that Albayalde has already stepped down from his post. April Senadoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
The National Police Commission or NAPOLCOM is in favor of a third-party probe into the anomalous Pampanga drug operation in 2013. April Senadoza tells us why.
NAPOLCOM has expressed readiness to accept new administrative cases against the 13 so-called ninja cops allegedly involved in the 2013 Pampanga drug raid. Interior Secretary Eduardo Año, who also sits as the NAPOLCOM chairman, has been ordered to investigate the incident that drags PNP Chief Police General Albayalde's name into the drug recycling activity.
Mas maganda kung may third party investigating para mawala ng suspetsya na nagpapabaya o may nagtatakipan. The timeline is for us to put the investigation in place immediately so that by the time that the matter of the investigation by the Senate is done, mayroon na rin kaming sigurong ano.
The agency will wait for the result of the Senate inquiry on the issue before releasing their recommendation. Albayalde, meanwhile, vows to sign the dismissal order of the accused cops should NAPOLCOM recommend their removal from the service. April Senadoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
Good evening. The Light Rail Transit Authority reveals that from 5 train sets,
Another set of coaches may soon be deployed to improve the LRT Line 2 partial operations. The LRTA also clarifies the closure of Santolan, Katipunan, and Anonas depots may not last for 9 months. Joanano tells us why.
Aside from adding one more train set, the LRTA may soon resume regular operating hours.
Kumbaga, pinapamiliarize muna namin yung sarili namin. So pag na-familiarize na namin yung sarili namin, yan gamay na namin, then we will look into one, magdagdag ng isa pang tren, and then pangalawa, magbukas na tayo ng mas maaga, which is 5 a.m.
Although they found no technical issues in Anonas station, LRTA spokesperson Attorney Hernando Cabrera explains they cannot open Anonas yet since the trains cannot run until the Santolan depot because there is no power supply there yet.
Ang problema natin sa Anonas sa ngayon, ginagamit natin na kuha niyan na paradahan at saka emergency area just in case may masira na tren. Kasi nga pag binasirang tren, while nag-ooperate tayo, hindi pwedeng nakapara lang doon sa linya. Titigil ang buong operasyon.
According to the LRTA, not only 2 but 3 power rectifiers got burnt. It was revealed in their emergency meeting yesterday, those power rectifiers were hit by a lightning so they exploded. The LRTA meanwhile clarifies the 9-month closure it has earlier announced.
Ilinawin ko yung 9 months. Yung 9 months kasi, ang basis nun, if bibili tayo ng buong component, isang buo, bago, salpak mo lang. But with this current situation ngayon na nabuksan na natin, makikita natin ngayon kung pwedeng huwag na tayong bumili ng buo, kundi magre-repair na lang tayo component by component na lang. Mas malaki yung chances, mas mabilis. Hindi naabutin ng definitely ng 9 months.
Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasig City.
Presidential spokesperson Secretary Salvador Panelo says it is not a waste of time to accept the challenge of several militant groups to commute to work using public transport. Rosalie Cos reports why.
It is not his first time to use public transport as he commutes to work not on his private vehicle tomorrow. Presidential spokesperson and Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Secretary Salvador Panelo says he accepts the challenge posed by militant groups. He has nothing to prove when doing so and emphasizes he does not regard his Friday commute as a waste of time. Secretary Panelo admits he rode a taxi cab 2 months ago.
Sige, basta gawin na lang natin.
Okay, sir.
Para matapos na.
It's a waste of your time if it's a silly acceptance.
It's not. When you share the suffering of other people in a different way, it's not a waste of time.
Okay,
it's sharing.
Secretary Panelo also reiterated he has no plans on letting the media cover his commute. He refused to give details of the time of his departure and where he will take public transport tomorrow. He is not afraid about his security despite the threats and criticisms of netizens after his mass transport crisis statements. Militant groups say Panelo should not be accompanied by any bodyguards and he must not be given special treatment when using public transport.
Kayo ba, nakita niyo na ba ako may security ever since I assumed office in the government? None. Kahit sa mga biyahe ko sa abroad, wala rin akong kasama. Zero din ako.
Panelo maintains there's no mass transport crisis in the country, but he doesn't deny that everyone is suffering because of the massive traffic problems.
Transport mismo, as a means of transportation, since walang paralysis, walang crisis. But it doesn't mean na hindi tayo nagsasuffer. We are all suffering.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
No special treatment should be given to presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo as he accepts the challenge to use public transport according to the Makabayan bloc. Vincent Arboleda will tell us why.
No security personnel and no other forms of special treatment should be given to the Malacanang official, says Bayan Muna Representative Carlos Zarate.
Dapat makikipagtulakan din siya, makikipagbalyahan, no? Huwag siyang sumakay doon sa first coach dahil reserved yun for women and senior citizens. Baka yun ang pipiliin niya, hindi niya mararamdaman.
While former Anak Pawi's Party List Representative Ariel Casilao says Panelo must do so for a month, Zarate added that Secretary Panelo should take the challenge sincerely and not only to look cute. He emphasized the presidential spokesperson should commute like an ordinary passenger who endures the long queuing just to ride the MRT.
Ito ay para maramdaman nila ang araw-araw na pagdurusa ng mamamayan na maaga pa lang ay gumigising na, pumupunta sa mga estasyon ng tren o bus para pumila at pagkatapos late na ng gabi umuwi uli, no, dahil sa ganun ding problema.
The commute challenge of militant groups was accepted by Panelo to prove there is no transport crisis in the country. Something that some lawmakers and groups are arguing due to the worsening traffic situation and the problems faced by commuters after the incidents involving mass transport systems like the MRT and LRT2. Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade admits there are a lot of problems in the Metro's mass transportation. However, he believes that this is yet to be considered as crisis. Harleen Delgado will tell us why.
Ano mang ibig nila sabihin ng transportation crisis? Ang nakikita ko lang traffic, hindi yung transport na yan. Mayroong transportation naman. Kakasakay naman tayo lahat.
This remark of Presidential Spokesman Secretary Salvador Panelo earned comments wherein he said that there was no mass transport crisis in the metro. Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade agrees with this. According to the Secretary, there are indeed problems plaguing the country's mass transport, especially with the recent incident in the LRT Line 2. But he believes this should not be taken as crisis.
Kung mo ba may transport problem, may transport issue, meron ng transport crisis, hindi pa dumaan sa ganyan yan.
He also answered the challenge of militant groups Anakbayan and Kilusang Mayo Uno to commute going to work. He says he has been taking the public transport just away from the public eye.
Sumasakay po ako para testingin yung mga proseso saka yung mga kalagayan. Ang diferensya lang, pag ako sumakay, hindi ko inaanunsyo. Pag ako sumakay, wala akong kasamang media.
But do the commuting public agree that there was no mass transport crisis in Metro Manila?
Hindi ako sangayon kay Panelo. Talaga naman na, kitang-kita naman natin, di ba? Talagang sobrang hirap sumakay, araw-araw.
May krisis na po tayong nararanasan sa traffic ko sa mga panahon ngayon. Yung traffic po na nagdudulot po sa amin ng mas dagdag na kapaguran po. Imbis na gumagawa na po kami ng mga takdang aralin.
Dapat yung upuan ng jeep 16 lang. So dapat 16 lang yung nakaupo doon. Yung sa bus 90. Dapat 90 lang. Pero bakit may mga nakatayo? Ganun. Siguro para sa akin yun, may crisis.
Sa akin naman bilang senior citizen, siyempre, nararamdaman ko talagang maraming crisis talaga yung transportation natin.
Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
After signing the National Telecommuting Act last year, many companies are now implementing work-from-home arrangement. Is this the real answer to traffic problems in the metro? Let's watch this report.
41-year-old single mom Maribel works as a promodizer in a business outsourcing company. Her 16-year-old child was forced to stop in his studies to look after his youngest sibling as Maribel works for their daily living. So she appeals to her employer.
May time na pwede silang ibigay para kahit papano, malagaan mo yung bata. Parang minsan pwede yung may parang broken time.
It was April this year when the Implementing Rules and Regulations of Republic Act No. 11165 or the National Telecommuting Act was published. Under this, employers can voluntarily offer the use of technologies to their workers to do their job at home or at a place which is most convenient for them. An economist says, as of now, several sectors and industries can implement this immediately.
Basically frontliners, but the ones that are doing the support work, no? Kasi mas madali sa kanila yung ganung klase. But if you're gonna apply it to operations, not gonna work. Number one na matatamaan talaga dyan yung productivity, yung quality it is.
Several industries like information technology gradually implements this. A study from Japan International Cooperation Agency or JICA says traffic cost in the country may worsen from 3.5 billion pesos to 5.4 billion pesos. The Department of Labor and Employment or DOLE says the impact of work-from-home schemes still under their scrutiny.
Siguro po sa mga ibang industry ay inaatasan po ng batas ang Department of Labor and Employment na magkaroon po ng pag-aaral within 3 years para maka-establish po tayo ng baseline dahil ito po ay bago nga kung tutuusin at paano nga ba ang isang kumpanya other than the IT/BPM sector mismo ay maka-benefit nitong ating work from home.
The Employers Confederation of the Philippines meanwhile admits security and internet connection issues remain as a challenge in implementing the law.
Pagka hindi nila yung computer sa bahay, even those who are dealing with the company will have problems dahil yung security ng information nila.
Mai Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Vice Mayor Charlie Yuson III of Batuan Masbate died in an ambush in Sampaloc, Manila. 2 others were injured in the incident. The Manila Police District has not yet released the identities of the suspects, but the relatives of the slain public official allege that PCSO Director Sandra Cam is involved in the killing. Aiko Miguel reports why.
While eating in a restaurant in Sampaloc, Manila yesterday morning, Charlie Yuson III, the vice mayor of Batuan Town in Masbate Province, Bicol, was shot dead. After the incident, his relatives went to the Ermita police station to find out the identity of the 4 suspects in the killing. They were able to talk with Chief of Police Lieutenant Colonel Ariel Caramuan, but they were told to wait. They stayed outside the precinct the entire night.
Pwede pa ako magtanong, sabi niya, sige, ano yon? Sabi ko, nandyan po ba yung mga suspect? Sabi niya, nandyan sa taas. Sabi ko, bilang kamag-anak, pwede ko po ba silang makita? O kaya malaman man lang kung ano ang mga identity o information sa kanila. Sabi niya, hindi pa pwede kasi under investigation pa. Sabi niya, maghintay lang daw ako ng oras.
Charlie Main Yuson added they suspect that Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office Director Sandra Cam is involved in the slaying.
Alam namin, politika ang ang dahilan ng lahat ng ito. Walang ibang gagawa niyan kundi si Sandra Cam, saka ang anak niya na si Marco Martin Cam. Kasi sila lang ang may dahilan at rason para patayin ang aming tiyuhin.
But Cam denies the allegation. She says it's unfair their family is being dragged into the matter. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
A white-tailed eagle flew across the Alps in 5 countries to raise awareness about the beauty of the natural world in the face of climate change. Nina Armilio details why.
A 9-year-old white-tailed eagle has been enlisted to raise awareness of climate change with spectacular images of him soaring over the peaks in his alpine home, which has already been hard hit by the rise in global temperatures. Equipped with a 360-degree camera mounted on his back, Victor soared above Mont Blanc and was set to take in 5 countries in 5 days, filming some of the world's most spectacular scenery.
He is a witness of the impact of climate change on our environment.
Victor is part of the Alpine Eagle Race project, which aims to raise awareness of melting glaciers and other effects of global warming through the combined eyes of the eagle, a photographer, and the scientist. White-tailed eagles are Europe's biggest eagle. While they are ranked as least concern on a list of endangered species drawn up by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, they are now sparse in Western Europe. Dependent for their survival on water resources, which glaciers provide, the eagles disappeared from France altogether 200 years ago, and only a few remain on the Swiss side of the border. Researchers say alpine glaciers are melting at an alarming rate, with before and after photographs showing them retreating up valleys over the last century. Nina Armilio, UNTV News and Rescue.
And for the news abroad, here's Kath Dumaraos reporting live from Bangkok, Thailand. Kath, good evening.
Good evening, William. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo defends U.S. President Donald Trump as Turkey launches offensive in northern Syria. This report has the details.
The United States has not given Turkey a green light to invade Syria, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said on Wednesday, but added that Ankara had legitimate security concerns and that President Donald Trump made a decision to move American soldiers out of harm's way. Speaking to broadcaster PBS, Pompeo said that China's treatment of Muslims, including the Uyghurs in Western China, was an enormous human rights violation, and Washington will continue to raise the issue.
This is not only an enormous human rights violation, but we don't think it's in the best interest of the world or of China to engage in this kind of behavior.
Asked whether Chinese President Xi Jinping was responsible, Pompeo said Xi Jinping leads the country just like the leader of a tank platoon. A small business or a country is responsible for the things that happen in your name. Pompeo also said it was wholly appropriate for President Donald Trump to ask Ukraine's leader to investigate corruption in his country.
I found that to be wholly appropriate to try and get another country to stop being corrupt.
Pompeo has said he listened to the July 25th call between Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, in which Trump asked Zelensky to investigate Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden and his son Hunter, who was on the board of a Ukrainian gas company. The call has sparked a U.S. House of Representatives impeachment probe of Trump. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
Electricity was shut off to 500,000 California homes and businesses as the country's largest utility imposed a planned outage of unprecedented scale to reduce wildfire risks posed by high winds and hot, dry weather. Beverly Saison reports why.
In the city of Vacaville, northeast of San Francisco, drivers were struggling to get through busy junctions with no working traffic lights. Also, many stores, including Walmart and Starbucks, remained closed.
So the traffic lights aren't working here. So that I think is bizarre, because hopefully people will behave and be kind and be cooperative. And there's people screaming here because they can't get gas, so we have people upset. The only bummer is they came here to Starbucks today and there's no coffee, the food mart's closed, and so I can't get my coffee fix.
In an attempt to avoid sparking a wildfire, Pacific Gas and Electric started the shutoff early Wednesday, leaving parts of 22 counties, including northern portions of the San Francisco Bay Area, in the dark. The utility has warned residents to prepare for outages that could last several days, but PG&E expected to restore electricity to most customers within 24 to 48 hours after the weather has passed. Ahead of Wednesday's shutdown, customers were urged to stock up on flashlights, fresh batteries, first aid supplies and cash, and to plan for healthcare needs requiring refrigerated medications or electrical devices. The utility said it opened 28 community centers across the planned outage zone to furnish restrooms, bottled water, battery charging, and air-conditioned seating during daytime hours. The California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection said red flag warnings were posted across the state for what was shaping up to be the strongest wind event so far this season. Beverly Saison, UNTV News and Rescue, USA.
Vietnam authorities has ordered Hanoi to shut down selfie hotspots and makeshift coffee shops along its famous train street as a safety measure. Amiel Pascual explains why.
It's the kind of shot every Instagram connoisseur yearns for. Century-old railway tracks cutting through dusty back streets, flanked by tourists, coffee or iced tea mere inches away from the slow-moving trains. The site has become such a draw in Hanoi that authorities have set a weekend deadline for the removal of dozens of cafes that have cropped up, citing safety concerns.
It's just so beautiful, and the fact that you have coffee shops and people who are actually living in this area every day having to see this, it's quite remarkable.
Vendors run businesses on the tracks selling snacks on skewers, while visitors enjoy sitting along the railway lines to soak in the vibes of the place. But the fun and selfies have come to an end. Vietnamese state media reported on Sunday that a train had to make an emergency stop soon after leaving Hanoi railway station to avoid hitting tourists. A day later, the Transport Ministry ordered the cafes to shut, citing safety concerns.
I mean, yes, but people are smart enough surely not to jump in front of a train. I can see some people getting too invested in taking a photo or a Snapchat and standing too close, but the risk you're willing to take.
Built in 1902 during French colonial rule, the railway mostly carries passengers and cargo to and fro between Hanoi and the eastern city of Haiphong, as well as to the remote towns of Langson and Laotsai, which lie along the mountainous borderness to China. The tracks run an old-fashioned French narrow gauge and is so old that when North Korean leader Kim Jong-un visited Hanoi in February for a summit with US President Donald Trump, he had to stop at the border and continue by car. Miel Pascual, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the news from the other parts of the globe. Back to you, William.
Thank you very much, Kath Dumaraos, reporting live from Bangkok, Thailand. A father's love is truly unconditional, just like a motorcycle rider who offered free rides to stranded passengers in exchange for a prayer for his ailing son. Mon Hokson has the story.
A social media post about a motorcycle rider offering free ride to students went viral. Modrea Yolan Reyes posted it on Facebook last Monday. Modrea says that she is waiting for a ride for more than an hour in front of the LRT Santolan station when she saw a motorcycle rider offering students a free ride. Modrea is worried because she will be late for the midterm exam, so she asked the rider to take her to her destination. Modrea said that the motorcycle rider, identified as Michael Vinuya, is a blessing in disguise because she is praying that she will not be late for school. When they reached the destination, Modrea insisted on paying Michael but he declined. Instead of getting the payment, Michael asked a favor to Modrea. The rider asked for a prayer for his 5-year-old son named Little Marcus, who got sick and is in the hospital. By Michael's request, Modrea asked him if she could create a fundraising account for his son, but he refused and insisted to pray for his son. That is why she urged everyone to pray for little Marcus' early recovery. Thank God, little Marcus is now discharged in the hospital and now feeling well. In times where commuting to office and school is a dilemma, in times where everyone is blaming each other and finding a solution for the worsening traffic situation, there are people who will do good to others without asking anything in return. Just like Michael Vinuya, who proved that doing good and praying to God can solve his problem. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news this October 10, 2019. On behalf of Alex Baltazar and Angelo Castro III, I am William Theo. And before we close, we will recap with today's significant soundbites. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.
Sa PNP, ang mag-iisip talaga sa akin ng masama, yung nakinabang sa pira na yan, kung sino ka man, nagginabang ka tapos ngayon nakalkal yan, masakit at masama ang loob mo, pwede talaga mo pag-isipan mo talaga ako ng masama. Dahil kung nagastos mo na yan, namumroblema ko kung saan ka kukuha.
As per advice, siguraduhin ang pagbibigay ng pera. So, the money will be given to the informants and to the witnesses. We have a categorization of informants and witnesses. So, informant who executed an affidavit should be given a larger portion.
Bakit hindi pa nila inilalabas ngayon? Kung ready sila, di ba? I think they are not ready. They are hiding something. That's what I'm looking at it.
Kung sino man ang mga dapat mabigyan ay siya dapat mabigyan. At ang detalye nito, of course, ay bibigay ng CIDG. Kasama na rin dyan ang Provincial Police Office ng Albay na kung saan ay may hawak din sila na bahagi ng reward money.
Ako po ay lubos na nagtitiwala dito sa NBI. Kaya nagdesisyon ako na makapasok sa WPP na binibigay nila